The day of reckoning has finally come for this space. It's not working out. So if you followed the show for a while, you probably remembered that I moved into this space about 3 years ago. This is the house where I live, but I also work here, and this is essentially a fourth bedroom. It used to be a garage that was converted at some point, and it's been a pretty decent space up until now, and I really feel like the last couple months, everything's just been closing in on me. And what I would really like to have is a separate studio that only functions as a studio where I would go to work and then not live there. Unfortunately, that's not financially possible right now, so I'm gonna have to make the best out of this space. But part of the problem is just the clutter in here. The biggest problem is there's a lot of stuff that I have that just never had a place to go to begin with, and it just kind of winds up in here. Anyway, I just can't deal with it anymore. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago that this renovation was going to happen. And since then, it got put off. I had some things come up, and then I had the opportunity to film some more artist series. And so I just kind of put everything on hold. We're done. It's just got to go. I originally was not going to do this video. I was going to just renovate the space and then give you guys the new studio tour. But in thinking about it and doing my research, I thought this actually might be interesting to some of you guys. As photographers, we all tend to deal with the same kinds of clutter. And anyway, so I was researching about what I wanted to do on the studio. And so I go on Pinterest and I'm looking for ideas. And then I realized having a home studio space for a very specific thing that I do with making videos is not a very normal thing, so you're not going to find a lot. So a lot of it is trying to draw inspiration from other things and try to repurpose. So the first thing I did, we had to figure out what kind of space we have and what we want to do with it. And this is not a huge room. I'm using a wide-angle lens, so it looks bigger than it is. It's about 13 feet this way by about 12 feet this way, 8-foot-high ceilings. That's what I've got to work with. Step one in this process is figuring out how I can work more efficiently without becoming burnt out all the time. And part of the problem is I have one workspace, which is my main desk. And I do everything there. I do behind the scenes business work there. I do video editing there. I do my email stuff there. I do everything in one spot. And I would really love to be able to do some music production again and some of the things that I used to do that I've kind of grown away from because I've been busy with other things. And so part of the deal is I want 2 workspaces in here, which is going to be a little tight. I'm going to keep my main desk, but I'm going to put a secondary desk back on this wall back here. The other problem here is defining where the clutter is coming from. Now, this desk is actually going to go because every time I post something on this, I get comments and people find it kind of disgusting, I suppose, because all of the fake wood veneer, the sticker on here, is peeling up. I actually like this desk. I've had it since, I guess I bought this in like 1998 or so, so I've had it forever. And it just looks like somebody worked a lot here to me. And, you know, it's probably a few spilled coffees and a lot of condensation from cold drinks in the summer, but these are the signs of work. And it is cluttered because a lot of this stuff has nowhere to live. And I need to have really good storage when I redo this. So here's kind of some of my thinking on here. Let's define what stuff is. First category is cameras and lenses. Obviously, if you're a photographer, you have a lot of this kind of thing. I've got a lot of camera bodies, a lot of lenses, and I have multiple systems. I've got film, I've got digital stuff, and it's kind of all over the place. There's no real central place where everything is organized and it lives. And I built a camera shelf when I moved in, and that's really not working out for me, mainly because you've got to bend down to get to things, and it's just not in a really easy place to keep stuff organized and be able to clean it when you're not using it and keep it stored. So we're going to rethink that whole thing. I could keep these in camera bags, but then they're out of sight, and I use this stuff, so I need it kind of out and ready. So that's the first thing I'm going to address. Second category, random cables. It seems like everything I buy that's not groceries comes with a USB cord or some kind of power cord, and the worst is when they're proprietary and you have to kind of keep it with the item that it goes with, and it's not something you keep plugged in or used. So they're all lying around. You can't ever find anything when you need it, and you know exactly where things are when you don't because you're just running across them. So need a better system for cables. Third category, and I don't really know what to call this, so we'll call it consumables, but this includes things like film. I'm shooting instant film. It's kind of something that I just find fun, and I've been doing a lot more of it recently, and I bought a bunch of film. I don't know what to do with it. I've still got all my old 35mm and 120 film. We've got SD cards. I've got printer ink. I've got paper. These are kind of reusable items, and they need to be organized somehow, and they're just kind of on shelves or in drawers or stuffed away. Not happening. Then there's accessories like this. This is a little friction arm that you can use to attach stuff to a tripod. This includes things like tripods and light stands and all this stuff. Now, some of those are out and they're permanently mounted like the camera they normally film on. I don't have to worry about them, but some of them are not. And I use them when I travel or go on shoots, and they don't really have a place to live, so they just get stacked up in the corner. But the problematic part are things like this that are really small. Like, where does this go? It needs a space. And then there's books. Now, I'm really serious about photography, and I study study a lot of work that other people have done. So I have an enormous collection of books there, but I also get mail from you guys, and you guys have seen me do that on Mail Time. That is something that is really special to me, and I don't get rid of anything that people have sent, because to me that represents like this relationship that I have with my audience, where I inspired somebody to make something and they think enough of my show to share it with me, and so that's a real special thing. But I clearly need a space to put this stuff because it's just starting to stack up. And then finally, there's what I would call just flat storage. And these are things that lie flat, like paperwork that I need to keep for business stuff, bank statements, bills, things like that. And it also includes things like film. Once it's processed, once I have it bagged and sleeved, you know, where do my negative sleeves go? Where do my prints go? And that's something that I've done an okay job with. Well, I've done a pathetic job at it. It just goes into boxes and things. And so I can't ever find stuff when I need it. It's kind of like the USB cable that's really weird that you need. You need like a USB-C with 2 USB-C ends. Where is it? It's in this box full of stuff over here. Okay, so here is the plan. This wall back here, I'm going to remove the freestanding shelves. I like these, but they're not customizable, and I really need something that I can make more my own, and so I'm going to just use these as bookshelves, and I'm going to move them to another room. This entire wall back here is going to be shelving. There is a store in the US called the Container Store that specializes in organization. I have no affiliation with them, but it just found they have this system that they call the Alpha system, and that's what I'm going to install because, one, I can cover the entire wall. 2, it's modular, and 3, it's highly customizable. And so the whole thing, rather than destroying the wall, putting in a bunch of shelving, because I rent the place, is really not a good idea. What I'm going to do is you hang it all from one bar at the top. You'll see how I set it in a minute. Everything hangs from that, and they're wall studs that go in the back. Super cool, super customizable, and that's kind of going to be phase 1 for this whole thing. Let's get going. Okay, starting to get into shape back here. So I'm going to hide this until I can get everything spruced enough and ready to present. You know, it's kind of like on those TV shows where they do renovations on HGTV and they've like got the 3D design and they like have to move the life-size thing out in front of the house. So my drawing isn't all that great. So we will do the big reveal in the next video. You're gonna have to wait till next time. So until then, later. It's kind of like a stick figure drawing, but with furniture.
Dang!